In this video, I'm going to share 9 must-have print-on-demand t-shirt design fonts with you that you can all download for free and use commercially. Font number 1 that I've got for you is the Bold font. This is one that really everyone should download and install because, as it says right here, the Bold font is 100% free to use, no license needed, and is absolutely perfect for t-shirt design. I've used it a lot in the past and got on sales with it. It's very, very easy to read, and as with any Bold font, they really stand out on your t-shirts, especially if you change this font to white and have it placed on a dark t-shirt. It really pops and stands out well. As you can see, there's only uppercase letters, so you don't get lowercase, which doesn't really matter because I think for these types of fonts, uppercase looks best anyway. So yeah, this is one that you should definitely get because there's nothing that speaks against it, and it's going to help you out in a lot of situations. Font number 2 is a completely different style. This one is a script font, and it is not just the ordinary type of script one, but it also has an extrude option. And if you're wondering how that works, because it looks really weird here, I'm going to scroll down to the examples. And just by the way, here it says once again, this is free to use for personal and commercial use, because some people always ask on these videos, are these actually free? And yes, I purposely picked fonts that are 100% free to use. They will all be linked in the description. So here are some examples of this font in use with the extrude option. So you basically need to create one text layer with the first font style and then another one right behind that, and you have to select the extrude, and then you get this really nice 3D shadow effect, which once again can stand out very, very well on t-shirts and just make them really unique. So you get uppercase and lowercase, and you also get glyphs with this font, meaning you can click on some of the letters and then add this sort of extension or swoosh, and you have sort of different options for one single letter, which is amazing. I can't believe this font is free because it just looks really, really pretty. I would pay for this font really to use it, so definitely check it out. It will be linked down below, and I'm going to start using it in the near future. Next up, we've got a font called Chewy. This one has got a very playful style, which could definitely be useful for various different niches and scenarios. And I found this one on Google Fonts. Now, for anyone who's never heard of Google Fonts, it is a service provided by Google, obviously, and it's just a platform with thousands of really, really nice fonts that are all free for commercial and personal use. So definitely worth checking out. And I found a lot of nice fonts on here before. And this one, you can use it for many different situations. So if you type in best mom ever, you can see sort of what it looks like. We could put, I don't know, knitting club. I think more feminine niches or maybe funny, adult humor, those sort of designs could do well with this font. Hanging with Nomies, like that's a Christmas design that I've seen a few times in the past. It would work well for that. You can use uppercase and lowercase. It looks great in both cases and just adds that fun vibe to any of your designs. And moving from a very fun font, here we've got an extremely serious one. This one is called Gunplay, and as the name says, probably works well for gun-related or military-related niches. Here I typed out Veteran, which definitely looks very nice. There's a 3D version of the font as well, which is always handy to have some variety and to make some words stand out. This example image has it in lowercase letters, which actually looks quite nice as well, and there's a car in the background, so maybe car related niches could do well here too if you apply this font. Just don't use any like car makes or car names if you were going to enter any of those niches. Engineer, I tried that before and I think that looks amazing. A mechanic probably could work as well. So mostly masculine types of niches, job titles and hobbies that men are usually into. This is definitely the font to go for, to try out when you're entering those sort of niches. So make sure to download and install it because it's free anyway, so you might as well add it to your library of fonts. Font number 5 brings us back to googlefonts.com, and this one once again is quite playful and almost childlike, so this would work extremely well for kids niches, and I could also imagine it in like a Mother's Day niche, something for women. I like how the eyes have like a little heart shape instead of a dot over the letter, so definitely a nice looking font, very unique, and I don't know, I'm 12 today, as you can see, it works well for that sort of childish theme, maybe kids' birthday t-shirts you could use this font for. So definitely an interesting one. Wouldn't work for everything, but sometimes if you need something unique, this is definitely worth trying. Next up, we've got a font called Don Jose Black, and this one I actually found through Vexels, because often when they have design templates or t-shirt templates, they use some of these free fonts, which actually look extremely nice. So I've typed out a few words right here just as examples, words that you might be using in t-shirt designs so you can get an idea. I think it's got a very nice character. It is bold, just like the first one I showed you, which is nice because it stands out. But the first one was quite crisp and geometric. This one is more sort of rounded off and fun, which once again, it has a nice character and can work well for funny designs as well. You just have to play around with these fonts. Some work better than others in certain scenarios. I do like how it looks for nurse, for example. So if you had a design aimed at nurses, you could use that font and have the word quite big on the t-shirt, and then the other text around it a bit smaller in a different font maybe. So yeah, definitely a versatile one, a very fun and sort of friendly looking font, and it's one that I've added to my library and used quite a bit in the past few weeks. Font number 7 is a completely different style. This one looks very Western. It's called Ultra and is once again on Google Fonts. So this one is not just useful for Western type of designs, by the way, otherwise I probably wouldn't recommend it. It has got more versatility, and if I scroll down you can see that in smaller scales it is very hard to read, so I would not recommend that. Only use it on bigger words, otherwise you're going to make your customer struggle and probably turn away from your t-shirt. But if we type in an example here, for example, the word beer looks really great with that font. I could also imagine whiskey. So if we look at that word, that style suits alcohol extremely well, and that's not the only niche you could enter. Dad, if you had a Father's Day type design, you could use the word dad, make it quite big on your design. Just as an example, what does drunk look like? What about a different thing, not with alcohol? Let's type in cycling. What does that look like? Not ideal. Doesn't really feel like a cycling type font, but I think you get the gist. This one can be handy in some scenarios. I think sort of vintage birthday t-shirts, it could be really great for as well if you add like different numbers to a design and have the word vintage in there. This font could definitely apply and look extremely nice. So do get it. It is handy in certain situations and works especially well for alcohol themed t-shirt designs. Font number 8 is one that I've been using way longer than I've even been designing t-shirts. I used to work as a web designer, and this was one of the most popular fonts that I like to use. It's very clear, very easy to read, and it has different weights, which is handy because the bold one is probably most applicable for t-shirt design. The thinner ones are better for web design really. But if we turn this up a bit and type in fishing right here, for example, you can see that in the bold font it's very condensed, which is really good for longer words, especially if you have some long niches, some long phrases, then using a condensed font can make it a bit easier to read, and at the same time it's also very bold, geometric, and a clean, simple font that applies to many different niches. And you could even afterwards add a nice texture to this and make it look even nicer. So Oswald is a great font. It's very versatile, works for loads of different situations, and you can never have enough condensed fonts because they are extremely handy. And last but not least, we've got Erica 1, which is once again a font I found through Vexels in one of their pre-made designs. They were using this font and it was used in a very big word. I think it was cow, and that was blown up very big on the t-shirt with the shadow. And that is what I recommend you use this for as well. Not the word cow, but for smaller words, because once again, this font is quite hard to read if it's in smaller scales and a lot of words, a lot of letters. It's more handy if you want to highlight a certain word on your design. Besides that, you're going to have to combine it with a different font most likely, but to have like one part of your t-shirt design or the main topic of it stand out, this font can definitely be extremely handy. It feels very fun and sort of happy, and can be helpful in many different niches. So yeah, I really like this font. I installed it and used it a few times, and I think you could benefit from it as well. If you're looking for some more fonts to improve your t-shirt design quality, then make sure to check out my playlist right here on YouTube, where I share many fonts with you, both free and paid for.